Hello, everyone, and welcome to the As Seen on TV podcast for The Walking Dead, Season 4, Episode 7, Dead Weight. I'm your host, Dom. With me, I have my co-hosts, Angela.
How's it going?
Oh, hello. What do you have there?
We have Murloc joining us tonight.
You have a Murloc.
He watched as well.
Cool. And we have Clio.
Hello.
She does not have Bilbo Baggins with her tonight.
But I have Meta Knight.
She always has Meta Knight. I feel like
He's always somewhere off screen.
You guys got... You know what? I have Miley Cyrus's cat.
You
win.
This cat came in like a wrecking ball.
Yes, did.
It did. So, how are you guys tonight?
Good.
Good. Yeah.
That's good. What'd you guys think of this episode? We kind of setting up that the governor was such a nice person. That's what we left off with last week, and now it may not be the case. What do you guys think?
No, I still think he's a changed man. And nothing in that episode shocked me at all. I don't think anything shocking and out of his character happened. Like, he just acted. For every action, there's a reaction, and he was reacting.
I agree. He's not. Nothing really shocked me. But this episode was more interesting than the last episode. I was not here last week, but I mirrored John's opinions about last episode.
Yeah, you two seem like two peas in a pod.
Yeah.
Boy, I was the only one who liked that week. But
only one? What am I, chopped liver?
You were kind of in the middle on the fence there with that episode.
I liked it for obvious reasons. We needed story.
Yeah.
I liked seeing the governor, but there was just a lot of dead weight in that episode. No pun intended.
We also got governor-centric in this episode as well, but I think it's an excellent build-up for what's to come. And I told you guys earlier before we started the show, and I'm going to say it now, I have this just crazy feeling they're going to leave the mid-season break off with some crazy cliffhanger, and I can see it coming. Because there's a big confrontation just completely, inevitably sitting there waiting to happen, and I'm not looking forward to the suspense.
Well, our last mid-season finale, we had some trouble brewing. We didn't know what was going to happen. They left us on a huge cliffhanger. Huge one. So you guys think they're going to do that to us again this time?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As a writer, I would do it. I mean, I like to torture people like that, and I have a feeling that they will do the same.
That's kind of their style. But we'll get more into next week's episode a little later. But so we started off this episode with where the last one left off, with Martinez looking down at the governor, who's now in the pit with the little girl. What were you expecting out of Martinez? Did you expect him to be nice, or what?
I mean, I expected him to haul the governor out of the hole. I really wanted him to shoot the governor in the head. But every time I want somebody to kill the governor, nobody does. And I just want to say this. I don't think the governor is a bad character. I think he's a great, excellent character. He's very interesting.
He is.
I mean, I like him as a person, but I like having him around.
Well, let me ask you this question, because it kind of goes along with that. Wouldn't you want somebody like that? Put aside the fact that he went crazy and shot his own people, because that was just a psychotic break.
Oh, are we putting that aside? Okay.
Putting that aside, wouldn't you want to be
his character aside? Okay.
The little incident where he lost his mind and massacred his own people. But wouldn't you want to be like his quote-unquote new family? Because he obviously is going to do anything for them.
Yes. But he's also going to lie to them. And he's going to make them think that he's such a nice guy, while behind their backs, he's murdering everyone.
Well,
I would not want to be his new family. Also, I wouldn't trust him as easily as these dumb women have trusted him.
He's probably the first stranger they encountered, because by the way they acted.
Yeah, no, he is, because they were holed up in that apartment for
so long.
Like, a year and a half.
Well, they had like all that meat off the truck to gnaw
Yeah.
on, so they were fine. But I think that seeing him here, if you do compare it to where he was before, he's not the same. He did kill. He was kind of the kiss of death for Martinez was saying, let's share it. Let's share the leadership. The governor said as he was killing Martinez, I don't want it. And then he cries. So we can see that he did not want this, but he's going to definitely take it because he is a family to protect. Now, on that question of did we expect Martinez to do what he did? Absolutely, because he's a good guy and he's a trusting guy, and I think that maybe he trusted the governor, and like his just his only issue was that he knew who he was, and he offered him to like share the leadership, and that just spelled death for him.
Yeah.
And that's okay, and that would make sense if Martinez gave any indication that he was going to tell anybody about his past. Martinez, it doesn't seem like he was going to say anything to anybody.
Yeah, I don't think he would have.
If he didn't want the leadership when Martinez offered it to him, why didn't he just say no?
This is true.
I think he saw Martinez as the dead weight. He, like he's got this family to protect. I guess he sees this girl as his daughter and this woman, like he sees them as someone to protect. You can see from the get-go in this episode, he's not happy with the conditions they have.
Well, the governor clearly had a plan. Like you saw, he was scouting the map. He was circling locations. It almost seemed like he was trying to figure out exactly where the prison was. He was trying to calculate all this, and it seemed like he had a plan in his head. And Martinez just happened to be the only one at the camp that knew who he was, that could jeopardize exposing him for who he truly was.
Yeah.
So Martinez had to go.
But you also have to look at, watch the governor from the very get-go when he goes out on a run with these men. And he is, from the very second he takes off with these men, he's observing them. He's not in leading mode. He's in observation mode. He's like spectator. And he watches these men interact, and you can see his expressions change when he's like, looks at Martinez, is like, are you going to do something? And then he looks at this other guy, and then he's observing all of them. And you can tell in his mind he's factoring who the dead weight is.
Yeah. Well, it was also when Martinez heard the governor when he heard him being called Brian, when the little, what was it, the little girl that called him Brian, or was it the wife?
Lily,
the little girl,
Lily?
The woman he's fucking.
Yeah. His imaginary wife. Even though she's not imaginary.
I think he loves her.
He's believing that she's his old wife.
Yeah.
No, he burned that
a week
picture.
ago. Let's have sex.
He burned that picture. I'm fairly certain he's let go. Well, no, there's a difference between replacing and letting go, and I'm gonna stick by my guns and say the governor that we saw when he was first introduced in the show was a completely different man than he is right now, and he might do some deplorable things, but I think that they're all coming from good intentions.
Yeah. Maybe.
He's a good dad.
Is he a better father than Rick?
No.
Yes.
We're not having this conversation.
I love Rick Grimes, and
I'm
I will
sorry.
revolt if anything bad happens to Rick Grimes. I believe
Rick
both
dies.
of them can live.
I hope Rick dies.
I believe both of them can live.
I don't think I can do this podcast anymore. Bye.
So,
Because I think he's a good daddy.
Martinez, he's got all these conditions set in place, and specifically he says we can't have any dead weight here. Why do you think the governor respected his conditions? You saw him. He picked up the plate. He started washing dishes.
Yeah, but if you walked into somebody else's camp, not knowing anything, not knowing the people, not knowing how they revered their leader, not knowing anything, wouldn't you want to observe for a while and get your bearings before you plan a takeover? He's not just gonna I think he would have to forge some connections and build people's trust in him before he tried to do anything like that. He's not stupid. He may be volatile, but he's not stupid.
No, there we can agree on.
All right, so they go out on a hunt. They're the scouting mission, whatever. They're through the woods, and they start finding these decapitated bodies, with signs hung all over them. It almost seemed as if it was straight out of that movie Seven with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. You guys see that?
Yeah.
It had a very, very Seven-ish kind of feel to me. It was like liar, killer, murderer, whatever.
Liar, rapist, murderer.
Yeah, liarist, rapist, murderer.
Mm-hmm.
So are we supposed to know, or just not dwell on it like Mitch says, like the whole point of that? Like, I didn't really understood what they were for.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's meant to set up this thing that went down, and then we're left with those questions. Oh, what happened? And they just sort of push it aside, like it's not worth thinking about. You're just gonna get yourself worked up for no reason.
Yeah. I don't know. That whole scene seemed completely out of place to me.
No, because
didn't
when I
really
watched
fit.
it,
No, it made sense.
when I watched it, you could see it. You can take it for what it is, like see it many different ways. But the governor, I'm watching the governor the whole time, watching his face, watching his reaction. And when he saw the one that said murderer, he reacted to that physically. You could see him tense up, and you could see his face change. And like each one of those signs touched him in some way. And I know that they had rapist in there, but if we could think back to what he pretty much almost did to Maggie, I mean, he's been in a lot of situations where he's done some bad things or almost done some bad things. So he was that bad man, and he saw these people with their heads hacked off, and then he gets to the house. You get to the house where, you know, where he essentially put them all down.
Right.
But then the heads, like, remember when he had kept zombie heads
Yep.
in the tank just
Yeah.
to kind of stare at, to kind of, I guess, remind himself of what he was fighting. And
Cause he's fucking crazy.
well, I don't think he's crazy,
Yeah, he is.
but I think that scene made sense to me because, like I said, I'm watching him the whole time. It's like this episode was still his, I think.
Oh, most certainly. And I think, yeah, no. I actually didn't think about the heads relating to the heads in the jars. That's a good analogy. But that whole scene was sort of like, you know, I feel like they were pushing it aside, like the governor wants to push aside his past. Like, you know, just don't, it's better if we just don't talk about it, you know? Just, you know, don't ask him questions. We'll all be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, like the cabin itself, I understood how it related to the governor, but it just seemed completely like random out there, that it didn't have a purpose to me. Like other than it blatantly was in relation to the governor, but like the origin of how it got there and all that just seemed extremely happenstance. I don't know. It's just,
I think it was supposed to have no context. Like, you just get this scene that happened, all these dead bodies, and we don't get a story to it. Like, we don't
that.
get to have that.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Well, you don't know the story with the lady who hacked her husband's head off and kept it, but you know, it still meant something to Rick.
But
The purpose of the scene was because you know, we are able to. And the other thing I was wondering during that scene is the governor actually, like, he mashes with the edge of his flashlight right through one of the heads of the zombies.
Yeah.
One of the zombies, the one that's still kind of traipsing around, is the little girl, and that to me was the beginning of his unraveling. Like, I knew when he killed the little zombie girl, it was going to resonate with him. He was going to be like, okay, this is what I stand to lose again. I have a daughter now, and
That I met 2 weeks ago.
I just put one down. Yeah, but I think in the apocalyptic world you
I
can
know.
develop attachments a lot quicker. But
Yeah,
I think
that's
it
true.
I think it meant something to the governor.
We don't know how long it was.
You're right. They didn't say.
It didn't.
Feels like 2 weeks though.
For us, it was 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But to them, it could have been 3 months, 4 months. We don't know. We don't know for sure. But
I'm just waiting for him to knock up his lady and then really have something to
what about
worry
while they're
about.
investigating that cabin? On the way there, they discovered a camp, and they wanted to jump the camp and take all their supplies, but then what was it, Pete?
Yep.
I believe Pete was like, no, don't, let's not do that. And they come back from the camp, and they're all dead. They're all wiped out. So what do you think happened at that camp?
Well, what got to me was that it just happened and nobody heard or saw anything. But in addition to that, I think it was also used as a very important part of the plot because it kind of drove home that when they were arguing about it and the governor was just kind of, sitting by the tree there and he's just watching it all happen, I couldn't really tell where the governor sat on that situation, but he didn't speak up.
Yeah.
I think he just wanted to see what these leaders would do. And when he saw that the leaders just let this camp slip through their fingers, whether or not they went to steal or to kill and steal or whatever, they did nothing because they did nothing.
What do you guys think of Pete's leadership?
It's unfortunately in that world, you can't be a good person to everybody and put the needs of many before the needs of the few and win.
I don't know. I just think he had too many aggressive take charge guys around him and that he's too nervous. I think it would have worked if he was more assertive, I don't know. But they definitely used Pete as this is the good guy, this is the good man, like Rick,
Right.
Yeah.
So, do you guys think that he deserved to die? Like, the governor just slaughtered him.
I think his brother understood that.
I'm not sure if he deserved to die. They were going to have a vote. I mean, the governor really wanted power. All he had to do was turn on his charm, which he has so easily, and get voted leader. He didn't have to kill Pete.
He eliminated everyone that was in a position of power.
Yeah. But
and the one that he didn't, Pete's brother, he played Charlie in Fringe, and I knew I recognized him.
Yeah, that's
what
it was.
Hit me right now.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he got his own brother to turn against him at that point.
Well, he didn't get his
couldn't
brother to
do
turn
anything
against
about
him.
it at that point, but he still sided with the man who killed his brother. So he kind of did turn against him.
He doesn't like it. Like you saw when he was sitting with the governor at the table looking at the map. Like Mitch did not like that at all.
Yeah, I mean, he had a choice to make. If he opposed the governor, he probably would have been swimming in the lake with his zombie brother. So,
yeah.
But at the same time, I think he also understood because he didn't agree with his brother's decisions to start with.
What do you guys think about the governor keeping Pete at the bottom of the lake, just like he used to keep the heads in the fish tank?
I think it was just weird. He has a thing with, I guess, the water. Why would... I still don't understand why, but I guess it's his thing.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even think of it like that. I was just thinking why he knew he would come back as a zombie. Why the fuck didn't he just shoot him in the head or stab him in the head?
Because he wanted him.
But now he's keeping him
but he went back to look at him, too.
In a jar. He's going back to reflect like he did with that room full of zombie heads.
But he went and he goes back and he's looking at him, and so I don't know what to make of that just yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely very interesting. So, what about when Martinez was drinking and he gets all drunk? They're playing golf on top of the trailer and whatnot, and he wants to share the leadership with the governor. And then next thing we know, the governor just snaps. This is the first time we see him snap. He snaps and just clubs him in the back of the head with the golf club. Is he out of his mind?
No.
I know he's got whatever his reason is for doing it at that moment. He's got a reason. He's not doing it for no reason. But I just didn't get it. Like, I knew he was gonna kill Martinez. That was clear. But at that moment, I didn't know why that moment. Like, he said, "Oh, you want to share the leadership," which is clearly what the governor wants because he wants to protect his new family. And I just don't. If he said he'll share the power, why wouldn't he just either say no if he didn't want the power, or say yes if he did want it?
I feel like he felt that by Martinez saying maybe we could share this and that, he also saw him bobbling around drunk. He's hitting golf balls. He's taking leisure. I think he saw all those things as weaknesses, and as a weak leader, he could not do what was necessary to protect him and his family. So, and then by saying maybe we could do this together, he just like sealed the deal. Like the governor's like, the governor doesn't play partners, and he's either going to do it or he's not. And if the man who's going to do it, if he's not doing it, isn't going to keep him safe or his family, then I guess that's it. I don't know. I wasn't shocked at all.
See, I don't really think it's the fact that he was having leisure and that was the excuse of why he killed him. I think it was more that this was the first opportunity where he had Martinez alone, away from everybody, secluded.
No, I'm gonna agree with Indy here, because this episode still makes me a little mad, but it makes more sense now because you've explained these things. There is more sense to what the governor's been doing, for me anyway.
So,
Are you team governor yet?
What?
Are you team governor yet?
I doubt I'll ever be team governor, but
she turned
he's
this
a very
episode
good
around for
character.
you.
Hey, you know what
I'll
though? We
never
haven't
speak
heard
that.
from Carol in a while. Carol could be like starting her own camp. You could be team Carol, and she could just like come in,
I'm
tear
not on the
everyone
team.
apart.
Next, you're gonna tell
I'm
me
not
that
on the
Carol's
team,
the
I'm
one
just
that
watching the
destroyed
show.
You know, there's theories that people think that Carol is the one who destroyed that camp.
No.
We know she's capable of it,
No.
and I think it would be pretty badass if she was.
Interesting.
Do you think Carol's gonna? I'm jumping into the next episode, but we're talking on it right now. Do you think Carol's gonna come back during the mid-season finale and fight for the prison?
I would hope so. Well, not in any specific capacity, but I would hope to see like what's going on.
I would like to see her again, but as has
Would she
all
be
of
on
my
Team
other
Rick
theories.
or Team Governor?
What?
Would she be Team Rick or Team Governor?
It's a good question
That's
because
a very good question.
Rick cast her out. Tyrese is still in the prison, and the governor, like he said in one of the sneak peeks to the next episode, they're not all bad people in there. Maybe he would consider Carol to be one of the good people because Carol really didn't ever do anything to him.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think she would be team governor because there are still people in the prison who she cares about. So.
Oh yeah, she has a pseudo daughter too.
2 pseudo daughters.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh.
Her and the governor have some interesting parallels now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dead zombie daughters.
Indeed. So, they seem to get a little comfortable at the camp. Lily, she starts a nursing station there. Tara starts a relationship with Alicia. Is that
Alicia?
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 I don't remember. Yeah, Alicia. Do you think they're just like blindly following the governor at this point, or do you think it's more of they just wanted to be comfortable at this point?
I think they're comfortable.
They followed him. They left whatever comfort they made behind to follow him. So I guess they are just following him. But if it has been a longer amount of time, then maybe their connection to him, they just trust him. But I still think it's like...
Yeah, so as time's going on, they're kind of blindly following him at this point, right?
Yeah, because he's lying to them. He's like, don't you trust me? Let's just run away. Camp's not safe. Because I
Well,
murdered...
I thought that was interesting. I thought it was interesting that after the walker slipped through that he's, like he did try to get them out, and I'm interested in finding out if he did, like where would they have gone?
Did he try to slip them out before the walker got into the camp?
Yeah.
Oh, was it before?
Yeah.
Well, which just
He
goes
tried to
to
sneak them out.
solidify his decision after the walker slips through, and oh god, that was that part, because I couldn't be sure whether or not that little girl was gonna live.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, because the governor took all these resources to try to, like, build up a perimeter and, like, guards and stuff, and then a walker gets through. It's like, what did you just spend all this time doing if a walker gets through?
Yeah. I don't know. Could have already been on the property beforehand. I don't know exactly how it got through, but yeah. I don't know. He definitely missed something somewhere. We know that much. But what about when Lily goes into the camper later, and the governor is just, he's broke down in tears. He's crying. He said it was because he had a bad dream, but it was really because he was kind of regretting what he did to Martinez.
I don't think he regrets. I think he just the fact that he is, and I'll say this again because I said it last week, the fact that he's a man that can feel shame and remorse just proves that he's human, and he's not like a cold, calculated killer or evil, just purely evil person. There's a lot more to him. I think that's just a result. Like that's his price. His price is that he has to live with it. He makes the decisions which he believes are in the best interest of the people he loves, but he also has to be the one to live with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he's lying to them to lie to them. I think he's just trying to protect them, like, and keep them close. But
that doesn't make his lying anymore right.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it doesn't make it right, but he does let it slip in the preview for the next episode that his daughter was killed, and like you could see what's her name, Lily, look at him like, why haven't you told me this? Because when he's trying to do his like whole speech,
Pep rally speech.
the pep rally, yes,
Yeah.
he does let that through. So it'll be interesting to see it, and I think things are going to start coming out too. So we'll see how people accept his truth.
Yep. So we finally caught up to the events seen at the end of last week, which was the governor standing in front of the prison.
Yeah.
We saw him calculated, watching Rick, watching Carl. He had the opportunity to take them out, but he didn't. And we saw the same thing with Michonne and Herschel. But he didn't. At least it didn't seem that way. Conveniently, we didn't see Michonne in the previews for next episode.
Well, and I told you that I was really nervous about the fact that they were the last two people to leave the prison, and we knew they would be outside the prison grounds while the governor was just outside the prison grounds. It made all the sense in the world that they were going to, like, he would find her, and she's like the object of all his rage right now because, like I think he's still holding on to everything, and if he didn't shoot her right away, then I don't know if he's going to. It's a tough question.
Yeah, but that won't stop him from waging war against the prison.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see what he does. I mean, when he's talking, when we see the preview and he's actually standing there with his people behind him and Rick's standing there with his people behind him, like, there's no carnage going on. They're like talking. And I'm like, maybe he gets Michonne and uses her as leverage. Who knows? But
maybe. I really hope they don't turn Michonne into a damsel in distress, because that will just make me rage.
Yeah, she's definitely not. That's not befitting her for sure.
Yeah, and that would just be lazy writing. And I think this next episode is no, it's not. Never mind. It's the it's the episode when we come back from break is being written by Kirkman. Made a mistake.
Yep.
But, yeah.
So next week is the mid-season finale, and the episode is called Too Far Gone. Before we get to the synopsis, what do you guys think is too far gone?
It's got to be the prison, right? I mean,
does it?
I don't know. I mean,
I think it can refer to a person or persons.
Well,
maybe Rick, maybe the governor.
I don't want to think of it like that just because of my own selfish needs, but I think that they've scrapped quite a bit for the prison, and that the prison that once was is not what it used to be, and you know, I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah, maybe. And I should stop trying to like project because I've been wrong this entire fucking season. I had this whole conspiracy theory in my head, and it turns out the governor was just banging some chick the entire time, so I was completely wrong.
Good for the governor.
Hey, whatever.
So, the episode, the synopsis says, just when everything started to calm down at the prison, Rick and his group now face imminent danger and destruction. This time, they might not win. Why do you guys think that this is such a big deal? How is this so different from the army that they had at Woodbury assaulting the prison?
I mean, it's different in that they have a hell of a lot less people going in there. And
doesn't the prison have more?
No, not anymore.
I think after the whole and who even knows what's going on with that, because we haven't really we've been away from there for 2 episodes, but we don't know how many people, how many lives were claimed, and who's still sick and incapacitated.
It's not that we've been away from it for 2 episodes.
Well, we don't know the
caught up
situation
on both ends now.
Yeah, but we don't know the situation there right now. So
yeah,
it's exactly where it left off 2 weeks ago.
Okay, but we don't know
where they ended it 2 weeks ago. They did not say, "Oh, everybody's magically better." They didn't totally wrap that up in a bow.
Glenn's breathing on his own, but that doesn't mean shit right now. So, and I don't read the comics, and believe me, I've been tempted to go and like spoil things for myself because I can't stand cliffhangers. But just coming from somebody who has not read the comics, I think, and it might sound stupid, but I think that the prison is going to be a thing of the past for both parties involved. I don't think anybody's going to get the prison. I don't know why. They've got a tank.
This episode actually shares the same title as the 13th volume of the comic book series.
13 is my lucky number. Maybe something good will happen.
Yeah.
Not the episode we just watched this week.
Too Far Gone.
Yeah, Too Far Gone is the same title.
Yeah.
So that either means it's going to correspond with events in the comics, or just that it's going to be a similar plot point.
Yeah. Something else I thought was interesting, if you guys saw the preview for next week, we get to see Beth again. We haven't seen her in about 4 episodes now, right?
Yeah, she's just like babysitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yep.
I don't know, her character to me isn't really, I'm not really invested in Beth. Unfortunately.
She's got a little bit of a governor vibe going on. She's just very emotionless right now. She's very heartless, so to speak.
Well, I mean, I've said this before. She's not. She's putting up a front. She's got that emotion in her, but she's controlling it. And it does come out. It does boil over. The governor's not emotionless either. Like,
Governor cried, Dom.
I think you're oversimplifying the way these characters handle emotion.
Tears streaming out from under the eye patch. Do we not see that?
No.
The governor needs a hug.
No.
He's getting them.
What was who's the sequel to Martinez now? What's his name?
The sequel to Martinez.
Martin?
Yeah, someone with an M.
Yeah, Martin. He said it
Mitch.
was him that's Mitch.
Mitch.
Yeah. It was Mitch. Mitch stated he doesn't know whether the governor is blinking or winking.
Well, that was a joke on the fact he has one eye.
Yeah, but it's so hard to read the governor.
Yeah.
That's what that really boiled down to.
Yeah. It is hard to read him, but he does process emotion. It's just not normal. It's not that he doesn't feel.
Really.
It's not that Beth doesn't feel. It's just that this is a post-apocalyptic world where they've had to compartmentalize their emotions and they have to control it, otherwise it just gets out of hand.
Hey, I think that the way he is the way to survive, but
It's a way to survive.
that's just me, and I hope he doesn't die, and I hope Rick doesn't die, because I need both of these leaders to like live.
I
And I will revolt if either of them die at the mid-season. If either or both die, I might not be here because I will be protesting.
Wait. Let me clarify.
I don't think that
by
these two
might
can
not
stand
be here,
opposed for much longer. I don't think that they can both occupy the same space. I don't think it can happen.
I need to clarify this though, Indy. By might not be here, do you just mean on this podcast or
On the podcast.
Okay, you had me worried for a second.
Yeah. I love both of these characters very much, and I guess, and this is so rotten to say, it's so rotten. If I had to pick one to live, I'm gonna pick the governor. Because I feel like Rick has done everything he can. Like if Carl is orphaned, he's not gonna be destitute. If the governor dies, that family is in trouble. And I know we don't have much invested in them, but
Because they're stupid. They are really fucking stupid.
Hey, but
Sorry, I'm sorry.
We have Bob backwards.
Sorry.
We have Bob backwards.
Uh-huh. Well,
are you invested in Bob backwards?
Am I invested in Bob backwards?
No, I've already taken my money out of Bob backwards since he stabbed Daryl in the back. No.
He just seems a character on par with the other ones. It just seems like all the new characters introduced this season have not been introduced well.
But
any brand new character from this season.
Is it that they're not introduced well, or is it that they're just introduced at a really bad time? I don't know.
Previously, when a character was introduced into the series, like they actually felt like they had some significance, like some meaning to it. These characters all just feel like they were thrown there.
Bob feels like me. Bob had a good introduction and a good, like, they sort of eased him in. Kidding. They eased him in. And it's not that this new family was introduced badly. It's just that they're terrible. I'm sorry. I just think they're really stupid. And it's not that they were introduced badly. It's just that they are really stupid.
We can't blame the little girl for any of this, though, because she is just an innocent.
I'm blaming the sisters. They're really stupid.
What about the father?
The Gramps?
He was old and
Grandpa?
sick. I mean,
he was terminally ill.
Yeah.
He should have done a better job raising them.
He was probably just grateful that his girls, because they'd be dead, really. They would have gotten eaten by the Gramps if they just let him die in there.
Yep.
So.
Yep, that's for sure.
But we think I do have a side question.
Mm-hmm.
Will we see in the mid-season finale, will we be able to finally see the reemergence of Bear Trap Zombie? Or will that not?
I'm hoping.
You know?
We need to. I think that's a storyline that really needs to be tied up, and completed.
Loose ends, yeah.
To come full circle with Bear Trap Zombie.
I'd love to know more about this complex
I got two
character.
last questions for us before we go. Governor, did you think he was redeemable based on what we saw last week? And now, at this stage, do you think there's any saving him at this point?
What does he need to be saved from?
Himself.
No. He's totally redeemable and he's totally doing his thing. I support the governor.
The way I need either it's not going to happen next episode, but the way I need this season to end. And as much as I love Rick, I need both Rick and the governor to be dead. They both have to die.
No.
I'm sorry.
I agree. I 100%
That's
agree.
the only way these two characters can be redeemed is if they are dead.
No. I can't. No.
I think that they are both too far gone. They both like I just think it's the only way they can wrap that up. Because the governor, while he is in his way changed from before, he's still lying, he's still killing, he's still grabbing for this power, and it's not gonna end well again. And Rick has started.
But what has Rick done wrong?
Well, and I'm not saying that this is wrong, but throwing out Carol, he's made a decision for the entire prison, which would be okay if he was in a position of power, but he wasn't. He was Farmer Rick, and he hadn't been in the council. He hadn't made a single decision until he makes this gigantic decision by himself for everyone else.
Yep.
And I don't think that that's right. I don't think that he, you
want Rick dead because he threw your character out.
No, I love Rick, and I think he can be redeemed, but I'm not sure he can. I want him to be redeemed, but I don't think he can.
Oh, it's so tough.
I think it's time for Carl to take a step up. And he can't do that if Rick is still around.
Well, that means the governor lives, so.
Okay.
No, I think they both have to die. I'm sorry. They both have to die.
Prediction time.
That was my prediction. I'm done. I
mean, she's
new prediction, final prediction. Then we're out.
Okay.
If someone was to die, the mid-season finale, who is it going to be?
I can tell you who it's not going to be. Daryl. I think we can all agree on that.
Yes. Because if they do, fangirls will just... I don't know what they do.
The show ends.
They'll lose their shit.
Can this just be like... I mean, I think...
No, Carl's not gonna die. Chat.
No. I'm not gonna say Carl. Oh, chat.
Sorry, no,
chat
that was
room.
chat.
I don't see chat room. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I think if somebody dies, I'll go ahead and say Michonne.
I mean, I would, but I don't think... I don't want Michonne to bite it,
If it's got to be the Michonne or the governor, I'm saying Michonne. I like her. She's kick-ass. I love kick-ass women, but I love the governor. I'm team governor.
Yeah, I think Michonne is fueling the governor's rage, but I don't think it's Michonne against the governor. I think it's Rick against the governor.
Yeah, unfortunately. I'm going to try not to think too much about it, because I'll start getting sad.
I'm not sure anyone's going to die next episode, because they might just leave it as a giant cliffhanger, like last year.
Like they always do. Let's torment the viewers a little bit. We'll sell some comic books.
I think if they're going to kill someone next episode, it's not going to be someone totally major. It's going to be someone we care about
like
enough to really... We don't care enough about Bob yet.
True.
Bob needs more development. We don't care enough about Bob.
Don't even go there, because Bear Trap Zombie cannot die yet. We haven't learned enough. We haven't... we care very much, but...
It's going to need to be either like someone like... I would say Beth, but I'm not sure everyone really cares about Beth.
Unfortunately, I don't have anything invested in that character. Yeah. Now, Maggie or Glenn is a huge possibility, because that would just be such a heartbreaking knife twist.
Well, here's the
thing.
And
they've set that up.
Glenn's been sick.
They've set up one of their deaths.
Glenn's
been sick for a while now, so it seems like it's too obvious at this point.
Oh, and...
Glenn seems like Maggie. The obvious choice.
It could be Maggie that dies.
Who?
Maggie.
Maybe.
Either way.
But I'm thinking something a little more outside the box. We saw
Don't you dare
Michonne
say
and
Herschel.
Herschel.
Don't you dare say Herschel.
We saw Michonne and Herschel outside. What if?
Oh God! What if
Herschel...
he does something heroic and saves her?
Exactly.
Fuck.
Yeah.
No.
You see, I don't think the governor's gonna do anything as he's standing outside the prison. I think he's gonna go back and say, "Hey, we should take over this prison because they got stuff and stuff."
I don't
Yeah.
know. I could see Herschel doing something stupid and heroic. He's kind of already been doing that. He did the
Yes.
stupid and heroic thing by going into the infected people's area and played doctor, even though there was a doctor in there.
And there was a
If the
huge
doctor
emphasis
died,
on
if Herschel
heroes.
wasn't there, things would have gone to shit.
Exactly.
There was a huge
but
emphasis
Herschel
on
didn't know he was
heroes
gonna
this last
die when he went in
episode.
there.
But Dom, there was a huge emphasis on heroes this last episode and how they don't prevail in this world. And they only, they'll get themselves killed or other people killed in the process
Exactly.
of their heroism. But
Exactly.
interesting little tidbit here, because now I'm thinking, Chris Hardwick announced the guests for next week's Talking Dead. One of them is Lauren Cohan or Maggie, whatever her name is, and a special guest that we won't want to miss.
Guest.
Somebody's dying.
That's
think-
part of the other reason that I think somebody's gonna die.
When he's like, "You won't want to miss," I'm like, somebody's dying.
Hmm.
But the governor was just on Talking Dead. They're not gonna do that. They're not
But
gonna
the
like.
governor wasn't a secret guest. That's the thing.
No. But what I'm
I
saying
don't
is
think-
they're not gonna. Writers aren't gonna build up a character as much as they build up the governor, right? And just kill him in the next episode. I think he's
Well,
sticking
no.
around for a while.
That's what I'm
You-
saying, Herschel.
Don't say
You can
Herschel.
build up a character and then kill them. I just don't think it's going to be the governor because they're setting up this conflict with the governor and the prison, which is not just going to last this one episode. It's going to last the next half of the season.
Yeah, like Woodbury.
Yeah.
It didn't just happen overnight,
No.
But oh man,
I'm calling it right now, Herschel.
somebody's
End of
dying,
story.
and I don't want it to be Herschel because he's. I don't know.
That's why he's perfect, because you don't want him to die. That's why it's
But I mean-
perfect.
What if it is Maggie?
I think
She's
there's
gonna be on Talking Dead.
They set up the whole Glenn baby thing like that. Nothing ever came
Yeah.
of that yet. It's way too soon. They're not
Yeah.
gonna get rid of either one of them.
I think
quite
there's a
yet.
large pool of side characters that we still care about for them to choose who dies. So
Carl?
it's a very wide net.
No, it's not gonna be Carl. No,
it could
but
be Tyrese or
The thing
Sasha.
is,
It could be
what?
Bob.
Now I'm thinking about it
Could
because
be
you
Miley
keep saying
Cyrus's
Herschel. Could be, but now that I'm thinking about it, when the last episode that we were at the prison, there was a huge emphasis on Maggie and her father, and that connection was just emphasized, and we saw it, we felt it, and they tend to do things like that right before they tear shit apart. So,
Yeah.
God damn it! I hope you're wrong, Dom.
I hope I'm not.
But I think you're right. We
We'll
shall
find
see.
That we
Sunday.
shall. Angela, where can the people find you?
Find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube at Indie Garona. All the same everywhere.
Clio, where can the people find you?
They can find me on YouTube at LIOSMFVIDS, and you can find me on all of these social medias at Cleomoto.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah,
Very
that's
well
Sev's
done.
idea. We all made lower thirds.
By we all, I still haven't done one.
And I'll definitely have to try that for next time.
Yes. You can find me on twitter.com/phenomedom. PHENOMEDOM.
Phenomenon.
She's singing in her head. There she goes.
Is that where we find Miley Cyrus's cat too?
You might be able to find her cat there. Singing Wrecking Ball in all its glory.
With her Thanksgiving Day twerky.
Lovely.
You could find us all on facebook.com/ASOTV podcast, along with youtube.com/ASOTV podcast for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows. Till next week, when I will hopefully have this green screen behind me. See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye. Phenomenon.
Doo-doo-doo.